for the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Lenz,
Present.
Reister.
Here.
Sewell,
Present.
Wyatt,
Here.
Lawson.
Here. I'd like a motion to amend the agenda by moving item D for the volunteer fire positions to be the first item under general government.
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Then can I have a motion to approve the agenda
So
as
moved.
amended?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have approval to approve the consent agenda. Motion.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome, everyone. I've got a item to read. This is a proclamation of Water and Wastewater Workers of Iowa Week for September 19th to September 25th of 2021. Whereas the state of Iowa's surface and groundwaters are a treasured natural resource, whereas the water and wastewater workforce of Iowa have dedicated themselves to applying environmental science to enhance drinking and recreational waters of Iowa, and whereas their applied environmental science-based practices continue to be a vital element in improving the quality of life and preserving and protecting public health in our state and promoting sustainability in our way of living. Now therefore, I, George Wessel, Mayor of Hudson, do recognize the week of September 19th through September 25th as Water and Wastewater Works of Iowa Week, and further extend appreciation to our Jeremy Even and Stephen Penberthery and to all water and wastewater employees for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Thank you to those guys and everybody else doing it. Citizens' comments. Dennis, you want to speak to the council?
Thank you. In regards to the Dollar General store, again, I urge you to think about it seriously. I dropped a little information up there. The email was from local supervisor over our AWG stores to the regional man, and he responded back. And it was to another Iowa store that was facing the same type of a threat. And there's a little national indication on the other pages of the effects it's having on towns. Specifically, I guess they're noting the larger cities specifically, but Dollar General has a very aggressive, all dollar stores have a very aggressive growth pattern, and will basically eliminate a lot of the small stores. Thank goodness I'm not in that low 30,000 volume stores, which that's a kiss of death for those folks. But any loss definitely weakens our position. So again, we employ between 25 and 40 full-time and part-time employees at the store. Our annual payroll, and that's not including anything I take, is $350,000 to $370,000 a year. So we do have an impact. And again, as I mentioned last time, we pay out $79,000 in sales tax annually. So again, appreciate your consideration.
Thanks, Dennis. Anybody have a question for Dennis? Anything else? Okay. Gail, Administration Personnel Finance Committee.
We met on August 30th. First item on the agenda then was the RFPs for computer services. We had a couple of companies in attendance there. Chrissy had put together a spreadsheet and then also got hold of the companies with a set of same questions, and so we got that. References were checked, and we went then with RSPN, saving us about $12,000 a year over ACES. Wow. So, next thing was Archive Social. The cost of that is $249, and they keep track of our social media sites, so that if for some reason we would get taken to court or something like that, we would have this as a backup, and so it helps with the, comply with the state's law and open records requests. So we went ahead and approved that. And the final thing was this slab work outside in front of the Depot Museum. The pavers are just terrible, and so we did get a bid, and not ADA compliant, so we did get a bid to have that report, and that's on tonight's agenda, so. And we adjourned at 5:16.
Ms. Gail, any questions for Gail?
I do, but I think I'll save it for when it's, the pavers on the front is on the agenda, right, for tonight?
Mhm. And then also then going to fix the steps going into there too.
Okay, I'll open a public hearing to gather public input regarding the subdivision plat for Gary and Alyssa Behrens to approve a subdivision plat. Any written comments?
No.
Any oral comments? I'll close the public hearing. Number 2, open a public hearing to gather public input regarding the subdivision plat for Robert and Deanna Smith. Any written comments?
No.
Any oral comments? I'll close that public hearing. General government, item D, which we'll handle first. Discussion action to approve resolution 2825, a resolution for approval to offer position of volunteer fire volunteers. Brandon Hodgen and Adam Sharpman, correct?
So moved.
Any discussion? Other than thank you very much for being willing to serve.
Gary, I always ask Chad this question, but do you know where we're at as far as members, the total number of members now?
He made 39.
And we're
So-
allowed, we're up to 43 is how much?
40.
40?
We're allowed 40, is what I have always seen. If I look in the, I can double check, but I believe the last time I looked in our bylaws and our constitution for down there, it was 40 was the max.
I think we've ever hit max anyway, so
Oh, yeah,
we have?
yeah, we were at max for quite a while there.
Really?
And then people moved away, or, stuff came up, or they just didn't have the time, but
Well, we appreciate all of your, everybody's willingness to step up and do this job, because it's not a job I could do, so.
Is that cap simply a bylaws cap or have any relevance to population?
I don't think it has anything to do with the population. I think it was just a number that was set before I even got on.
Gotcha.
Cause I know when I got on in '96, it was already in there for that number.
All right.
It
So,
may be something that in the future may need to be looked at. If
Yeah.
population grows, that we may
Yeah,
need to add more
and-
members, but,
yeah,
Certainly
and,
growing.
right, yeah, we're not getting smaller.
No.
and I mean, that's a possibility, cause like right now, I said he's gonna be number 30, or he is number 39, and I've got 2 applications right now on my desk that I already did the first reading for.
Cool.
So I'm gonna have to make one of them wait another month, or, while we vote on the first guy,
Sure.
and then if he gets on, then I gotta get a hold of the other guy and say, I'll get a hold of you when
When we have an opening.
we have an opening. And I know of 3 other people within the next year that will possibly be wanting to apply, so.
Do we have any that are in the possibility of retiring sometime too, though? Potentially. I mean, we don't have a,
It's questionable. I mean, I know a couple of them have talked about it,
Sure.
but they're not in a big hurry to. So I would say probably within maybe the next 5 years, we'll probably only have 2, maybe 3, but,
thanks for the update.
yep,
That's great.
anytime.
All in favor? Oh,
Roll
we need a
call.
roll call.
Lawson,
Aye.
Reister, Sewell,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Wyatt,
Aye.
passes 5-0.
Thank you. You don't have to stay around for the rest of the meeting.
You can if you want. Exciting
Okay.
stuff.
Thanks.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Okay, item A, discussion action to approve resolution 2822, a resolution approving voluntary annexation. Before asking for a motion, I want to give my opinions and thoughts on this whole topic. First of all, I appreciate the concerns from the businesses as far as impact, but I think a very much more important piece of this whole discussion and decision-making process is the fact that if we look at the future land use map, which is the comprehensive plan. It's being updated a little bit, but basically everything that you see in purple on the lower right-hand corner is property that has been considered for many years for future potential annexation. The thing that we have never done with ground designated future annexation is we've never gone through a future land use plan. If you look at that whole map and all the work that's been done in the northern tier and other sections up along the corridors, we've always had ground in the city and then developed comprehensive plan or future land use plan to make sure that we weren't doing something that's going to affect us negatively later from the standpoint of the city or the citizenries. Reason I bring that up is I am not in favor of the annexation because the annexation that's being requested is simply 3.5 acres out of that lower right-hand portion of purple, which is about 240 acres. Having an annexation with a specific purpose, and this is not against Dollar General or anybody else that would come into there, is I feel we're shortchanging the entire planning process to do annexation on the 3.5 acres. I was asked by someone how long it would take to do a land use map on that. It'd probably take 6 to 9 months of work.
If not longer.
Because that's what we've pretty much gone through when we've done the other updates to it. And in my opinion, until there is a future land use, either by a large annexation of any of that ground or a decision by the council in the future to do a future land use even on that area, even though it's not part of the town, I am against the annexation. That's my monologue. I won't make any more comments. What I am willing then to do is to accept either a motion to accept, a motion to deny, a motion to table for such reason as maybe doing a land use update, or simply if there's no motion that is made, then the request dies.
I think, I mean, for the sake of just having discussion, I'd rather make a motion so we can have a discussion
Okay.
than let it die. And my motion would be that we deny it.
Do I have a second to the
I'll
motion?
second that.
Second.
It's open for discussion.
And I would just say that I'm
Pick
not,
one, Katie.
I appreciate the service y'all provide. My purpose is not to protect existing businesses primarily. I'm a capitalist, I love the free market. If someone wants to move in here and do something, God bless them, and let's, you know, have it out. I'm a business owner, I understand the threat that that poses, and I'm sympathetic to it, but that's not my primary motive. My primary motive is planning. You know, I think, George, you articulated it well. If we're gonna pluck 3.5 acres out of that, with no idea of how it might be developed in the future, I think that we would not get the best use out of that. And it might seem like a great opportunity right now. I'm not against Dollar General. My mother-in-law lives in Montezuma, Iowa. They've got a Dollar General. She loves it. And my grandkids and my kids love it because they get a bunch of stuff from grandma. So this isn't anti-business. This isn't anti-Dollar General. This isn't protectionist. This is, for me personally, it's just, if we're gonna do this kind of thing, we need to do it more comprehensively and in a more thought out way.
And this just may not be the right spot,
Yep.
maybe.
Any other discussion?
I would just like to hear more discussion on the pros and cons of denying versus moving for the study. Do we have any additional thoughts on that?
You mean like tabling it for the case
Yes,
of doing the
exactly.
land use?
Yeah,
I guess my response would be, it could be tabled, but then that's kind of an open question. Denial does not prohibit Dollar General or anyone else coming back for a request for annexation in the future. I think a denial with the statements as far as why the denial simply gives a full, if it's approved, however the vote goes on it, it gives the Dollar Generals and any other business a better understanding of what we as a city mayor and council believe is a necessary step before something like that happens. So I think I think it would be a stronger, I think it'd be a stronger signal to the community and the requesters of exactly what the feeling of the council is.
Okay.
And that does not, you know, at a future date, it does not prohibit you as council to request myself and Chrissy to investigate doing a future land use. It'd just be something that we'd start up as a separate topic.
It gets the request done, if I could add on to that. It gets the request done and answered. A tabling indefinitely means you have that hanging over your head indefinitely, and now you're stuck with the catch of when is your land use plan going to get done, and then revisiting it. And I don't like councils being dependent on other entities in order to make their decisions. That's just bad timing and bad decision making. So I wouldn't, land use planning can be difficult and time consuming, and I would hate for you to be bootstrapped on a decision like this based upon what you're gonna do on something else. And then it also impacts your decision making on the land use planning, whereas you have a much cleaner answer. It's done, it's been denied, it's been, if the council chooses to deny it, it's being denied for a perfectly acceptable reason. Councils have broad discretion in denying annexations. It's a power that you all possess and can exercise with reasonable discretion, so long as your decision's not arbitrary and capricious, and a reason like George articulated is certainly not arbitrary and capricious. So it doesn't prohibit any other entity from coming back again and making application. It's not a denial with prejudice. It's a denial at this time. So it, for lack of a better word, I like closure. It's closure as opposed to a, oops, did we get this one thing done, and 12 months from now, we're trying to figure out if we tabled it indefinitely. Procedurally, it's kind of messy when you table things indefinitely too. Not a fan.
I've got a question about land use, which is, everything on that map that is already kind of laid out with future land use, and this is 2015, is stuff that's within our city limits. So how do you even go about doing a land use plan on land that you don't own?
Well, that's a question that we'd have to check with Intercom to see if there's anything.
But you have to have meetings with all kinds of stakeholders in order to figure out what their long-term vision is. The first one that comes to my mind is your school. Your school's got some real land issues that they might want to be part of that discussion in terms of what their vision is long-term for the future. So lots of stakeholders and lots of meetings.
I just think that this is more complex than doing a land use
Oh, yes.
plan
Oh, yeah, it
with
is.
land that we already have,
It is,
right?
correct.
Well, and in that future discussions with a land use map too, we've kind of discussed traffic concerns and the roads that meet and where traffic flow goes with that land use map as well. You know, with this specific 3 acres, you know, how does that affect everything that comes in and out of that in an intersection with previous fatalities that we want to protect our citizens from as well? So that's part of that land use, I would say, too, to look at all of that with it, you know, as well as what we want to see for the future of our community.
Any other comments, discussion? Roll call.
Reister.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Request has been denied. Thank you. Item B, you don't have to stick around for the rest if you don't want to.
You can if you want.
Entertaining.
It is entertaining. Wait until we get one that we don't agree on.
Try to do it every other Monday.
Thank you, and remember to vote tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, we will have to put that at the end of the meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you. Before you approve this resolution, I got this contract from Chrissy on Friday. I have not reviewed it yet, so I just ask that any motion be subject to the contract being reviewed by signature.
Item B, discussion action to approve resolution 2823, a resolution for approval of technology support with RSPN for City of Hudson, Iowa. Do I hear a motion to approve subject to attorney review?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Who seconded it?
Lori.
I can't tell between you two, sorry. Okay, Buns.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item C, discussion action to approve resolution 2824, a resolution to close the sewer aeration project and the approved final payments.
So moved.
Second. Discussion,
That completely finishes it out from what I read.
Yes.
Perfect.
roll call.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item E, discussion action to approve resolution 2826, a resolution for approval of the bid for painting services for the Depot Museum. In this case, of just one note, it is the winning bidder, went out for sealed bid. We only had one bid. It's Katie's husband, who has his firm for painting. We checked with Heather to make sure that was approved on the basis of, or approvable for no conflict of interest, and it is okay.
Because it was subject to the competitive bid process.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is an exception under the conflict rules under the code.
Motion to approve,
So moved.
Second?
discussion.
He is certified in lead paint abatement.
He's not doing that part.
Yeah, that's
We-
a separate project.
We have advanced environmental and perceptive painting,
Personified.
personified painting that are doing the abatement.
And
So
we already
this is the
approved
painting.
that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
approved that previously?
Yeah, this is
Yep.
the last piece of the puzzle.
Okay, who's choosing the color?
Huh?
We're gonna see if we can find,
Original color?
original
Try to.
colors. And, it was also part of that study that the interns did as to what colors there were.
And I think
Um,
they did find the original color.
I think they did too,
Yeah.
if
I
I
think
remember
that's what-
correctly.
Yeah.
One thing I'm just gonna throw out here with this is we are truly piecing this thing together right now. We need to at least keep track of, because I believe this is a process that we should be, instead of doing this piecemeal, as one large project, because there are grants available for this. We're gonna spend more money doing it this way, than putting it as a project together to be able to do. I understand timeframes and we wanna get stuff done. But that's why we have those processes in place to be able to do this with, and I don't wanna continue to see, now this little piece is being done, and we're gonna spend 40,000 on this, and then another 40,000 on this, when we could have a $200,000 project and get 100,000 of it.
This is the main final piece until we get the rest into a project. And one of the driving factors in that was the grant that we've been awarded, and they keep saying, you know, you've got to use
The
this grant
extension,
funds up.
correct.
So that was to get, this gets rid of the extensions and takes care of the lead. The problem with doing the lead abatement without doing this painting over the top is then you got the risk.
Oh, you
of
can't
some
leave
of
them
that.
both like that,
Yeah,
no.
so that was the driving force. I agree with you, going to those next pieces.
But we also need to keep track of these pieces together in the project
Okay.
scope, so that we can say
When we
that this
apply
is
them,
what
we
we've
get-
already
okay.
put in towards
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
project.
Acknowledge.
With that,
Mhm.
to do that, yeah, I understand these pieces, that piece with this. The next one is the one that we'll talk about a little bit more here, but,
Gotcha.
yeah, we just need to keep track of that for sure.
Roll call.
Lawson. Buns.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Reister.
Item F.
Oh. Motion carries 5-0.
Item F, discussion action to approve resolution 2827, a resolution regarding the approval of subdivision plat for Gary and Alyssa Behrens. Do you have a motion to approve?
So moved?
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Sewell.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item G, discussion action to approve resolution 2828, a resolution regarding the approval of subdivision plat for Robert and Deanna Smith. Do you have a motion to approve?
So,
A second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Reister.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item H, discussion action to approve resolution 2829. Oh,
No, these two do not need to happen.
yeah.
Right, these two
H and I
either fail
are
for
off.
lack of a motion,
Yeah.
or they can be
Okay.
denied. They can either fail for lack of a motion, or someone can make a motion to deny because they're not applicable now.
Do I hear any motion?
I just moved to deny.
We have a motion to deny.
Second.
Why is that now?
So this was to set the public hearing for the rezoning for the Dollar General,
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
which since the
My bad.
since it's no
Right.
longer within city property, it can't have a public hearing for a rezone because we don't have jurisdiction or control over it.
Got it.
So it's a motion to deny the setting of a public hearing because it's inapplicable now.
Got it.
Okay, roll call.
Reister.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Same
That took-
opportunity for I, discussion action for 2030 for setting a public hearing for the preliminary plat of that area.
So moved.
As a denial,
Denial.
Second.
discussion, roll call.
Lawson.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Number of informational items in the pack, reminder items, regular scheduled meetings held at council chambers except for electric board and library board. Public Works Committee meeting September 15th, 7 a.m. Mayor's Task Force may or may not be held on the 21st at 5 p.m. Probably will be canceled. Public Safety Committee meeting September 23rd at 4 p.m. Is that still on?
Yes,
The
that,
who, what, when, where?
the public safety on the 23rd, there will be something
I
on.
have a couple things on that one too, so.
Okay, I will reach out to you next week.
Whatever.
Personnel Admin Finance Committee meeting September 27th, 4:45 p.m. Next council meetings Monday, September 27th at 6 p.m. and Tuesday, October 12th at 6 p.m. Before we have an adjournment, I want to remind everybody there is a special election tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the community center regarding authorizing the Board of HMEU to execute a sale and dissolution. So encourage voting.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.